Right, so I've yet to get hands on with the 14 Pro, but of course, the rumor mill never stops and we have details regarding the iPhone 15 series that you guys wanted me to discuss, and so let's delve into it. Right, so we have many new reports and we begin regarding the regular iPhone 15 series and the upgrades they're gonna get. Right, so many were disappointed by the lack of upgrades the 14 and 14 Plus got, and of course, unlike previous years, they did not even get a new chip, and unfortunately it seems that's going to be the norm from now on, because we have Quo and another source telling us Apple's going to bring A17 to the Pros and keep A16 for the regular 15 series. So yes, while reusing A15s with the 14 series might be due to supply issues, it seems Apple's now going to make this the standard. And yeah, that does kind of suck to be honest, because yes, Apple's chips are plenty good, but you are likely now missing out on 1 year of support with the regular models, and that's not great. And what's even worse is that the A17 is apparently going to use the enhanced 3nm process, and that's going to be a major upgrade both in the performance and the efficiency of the chip. And so yes, I guess we've got to live with this differentiation between the regular models and the Pro models. But for those wanting some dynamic island action on the regular models, there is good news, because Ross Young does believe we're going to see dynamic island across the iPhone 15 series, but we're still not getting 120Hz or an always on display. Now let's break those tidbits apart, and beginning with the island, I'm glad Apple's giving us this with the regular iPhone 15 models. And it actually makes sense, because do remember the SE4 should launch midway into the iPhone 15 cycle, and with that, getting the iPhone XR notch design, Apple clearly wants to, of course, differentiate the flagship series with the island so they look a lot better than the SE, much like, of course, is the case right now with the SE3 and the 14 series. And yes, I know the smaller notch also looks drastically different to the XR notch, but of course, to regular consumers, making it clear with the island that these models are way better than the SE4 would make sense. Now let's talk about the disappointing news, and that's regarding the lack of 120Hz. Now to be honest, Apple's kinda screwed things over, because they call it promotion, so giving that to the regular models would not make sense. But then again, every Android phone around the price point of the regular iPhone 14 series does already have 120Hz, and so these staying at 60Hz is really not great. Now yes, I know that most consumers might not notice a high refresh rate, but at least offering the option to enable it would be appreciated for the high price. And actually, I would love to see Apple introduce Air Motion with the regular 15s, which would be 90Hz, and so that way the Pros still have an advantage, but the 15s still do get a pretty nice upgrade. I guess it depends on how the 14s do with a 60Hz panel, and also of course, whether Apple suppliers can produce it at the scale they need, but I'm still hoping we're gonna get this. Now the lack of an always on display actually does not bother me as such, since I'm not a fan of Apple's implementation. Personally, I would much prefer that Apple gives us a minimalistic always on display that of course is similar to Android phones, and so if we do get more customization with this, then yes, bring it to the 15 series. But on the whole, the regular iPhone 15s are once again going to be a very minor refresh, and it seems that for many of us, we have to get the Pros for all the new features. And regarding differentiation, Quo tells us we could see more differentiation with the 15 series, and there is a possibility the Pro and Pro Max actually do not share the same features. So Apple actually has done this pretty often with the Plus models in the past, and so Apple giving us more differentiation with the Pro Max makes sense, since that's going to push more consumers to spend more cash and get the Pro Max, increasing Apple's profits. But for those who do prefer smaller devices, this is bad news, because you're going to be forced to live with the bigger size. And actually, apparently the upgrades are going to be so major with the Pro Max, there could be a new name for this. Apparently we're getting an iPhone 15 Ultra instead, and so similar to what Samsung does, Apple's going to have one Halo iPhone that of course offers the best features and the biggest screen size. And I'm hugely in favor of this, because Pro Max has always sounded pretty stupid, whereas Ultra sounds relatively fine for the most part. So yes, 15 Ultra is perfect. And actually, I would not be surprised if we do see the Periscope zoom feature that of course has been heavily rumored for the 15 series is exclusive to the Ultra, because that's the biggest phone with, of course, tons of internal space to give us a feature like this, so don't be surprised if this is the case. Also, do remember the 15's the beginning of a new cycle, since the 12, 13 and 14 share, of course, the same chassis design, and so again, it would not surprise me if Apple does another iPhone X release where the Halo product gets the new design but the other products stick to the current chassis. Now, Type-C support could also be exclusive to the Ultra, but of course, because that's going to be mandated by law, I do think we're going to see that with the complete lineup. But exclusive camera features and maybe a design change, yes, that could be an Ultra exclusive. And in case you're wondering about the design change, I do think what John Prosser showed us, essentially a bigger version of the iPhone 4, could of course be the new chassis for the 15 cycle, so of course the 15, 16 and 17 are going to share this. But yes, the whole concept of a 15 Ultra makes sense when of course consumers are upgrading way less often nowadays, and stop selling them on the highest end model when they do upgrade is going to increase Apple's profits. And Timothy obviously wants that, so yes, this really is going to be the case. Now, regarding high-end features, there is also a report telling us we could see 8K video support with the iPhone 15 Ultra. Now this, I do kind of find hard to believe because, number one, this comes from a not so credible source, but number two, this was supposed to come with the iPhone 14 series, but the fact we did not get it, even with the main sensor, does heavily suggest Apple does not care about 8K video, and to be honest, I can't blame them because most consumers don't have 8K TVs or 8K displays, so there's really no point with Apple offering 8K video when of course most consumers can't watch in full resolution. And yeah, considering 4K video is already pretty great, I'm not too annoyed about this. Now, by the way, regarding the regular models, I'm praying we see bigger camera upgrades with these models next year because the ultra-wide's basically been the same since the 11, so of course, giving us a new sensor that supports macro modes would be appreciated. Anyways, tell me your thoughts regarding this report in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors, and on that note, see ya, peeps.